Win for Celtic here at Pittodrie. 3-1 it was to make it 2 wins out of 2. Our second commentary of the afternoon comes from Tynecastle. You can hear the reaction in the background as Hearts and Kilmarnock make their way out onto the pitch. It's full live commentary with Gary Holt, Alan Preston and Al Lamont.
Thanks very much, Richard. Yes, welcome to Tynecastle for a really intriguing contest between two sides looking to join Celtic and St Mirren on 6 points by the close of play. It's a warm but drizzly day down Gorgie Way. The pitch should be slick, and though not quite a full house as usual, the atmosphere is good inside this marvellous stadium. The teams go through the handshakes. Hearts in their maroon tops, white shorts, maroon socks. Killie in blue and white stripes, blue shorts and blue socks. A quick run through the teams once more just ahead of kick-off. Hearts making 3 changes from the 2-1 defeat out in Norway on Thursday, with Kingsley, Haring and Tagawa coming in for Cochrane, Baningime and Forrest. It means Xander Clark's in goals, a back four of Atkinson, Kent, Rowles and Kingsley, Devlin and Haring in midfield, Oda, Shankland and Lowry in behind Tagawa. Up front for Kilmarnock, same starting 11 from last Saturday when they got that hugely impressive victory over Rangers on the opening day. It's Will Dennis in goal, back 3 of Mayo, Dees and Finlay. Armstrong and Daba are the wing backs. Lyons, the captain, just in front of the defence, with Watson and McGuinness also in central midfield, and Kennedy and Watkins up front. The referee this afternoon is David Dickinson, who is just speaking to both captains, Brad Lyons and Lawrence Shankland, with a coin toss in the centre of the park as we prepare to get underway. 3-1 Celtic in the early kick-off. We'll keep you right up to date with events at Fir Park between Motherwell and Hibernian. But here, the live commentary is Hearts against Kilmarnock. Hearts with the opening day win at McDermott Park. Both goals coming late on in that one, but by all accounts a deserved victory, and Kilmarnock certainly deserving a victory. When I watched myself at Rugby Park, really impressive. Can they keep that up here this afternoon against Hearts? They have a terrific record here, Kilmarnock, albeit they lost last time out, 3-1 it was. But that was their only defeat here in their last 8 visits. It's quite remarkable. And in fact, in the last 8 games against Hearts in total, that is also their last defeat, their only defeat, I should say, as they tried to come forward in the early stages, but the ball comes off the head of Danny Armstrong. It's out for a Hearts throw-in. Hearts going from right to left as we look at it from the back of the Wheatfield stand. And Alan Preston, you'll have, I guess, been encouraged by the second half showing from Hearts in midweek, and hoping that from a Hearts perspective that continues this afternoon.
Yeah, I thought they were very good in the second half, got back into the tie. This is a heavy challenge there by Lyons on Kingsley. No, it was, I think the substitutions made a big difference on Thursday, bringing the likes of Haring on and Kingsley on as well. They made a big impact when they came on. Kingsley playing the ball in for Lon Shank to score a good header. But it's back to domestic business, as you rightly said. Kilmarnock got a terrific record here at Tynecastle, so it should be an interesting game out.
It is an early free kick for Hearts after that aerial challenge by Lyons on Kingsley, and the free kick goes Hearts way, just inside the Killie half. It's going to be taken by Lowry out on the Hearts left, just a couple of yards in from the touchline, but Hearts are throwing plenty of bodies forward to the edge of the box as the ball comes in. Haring gets the header and pushed away to the left and behind for a corner kick. Offside. Yeah, the offside flag is up. Haring, and indeed Will Dennis wasn't to know that as he threw himself to his left. It was a decent save, one you'd expect him to make, Gary Holt, but a warning sign early on for Kilmarnock.
Yeah, definitely, and especially seeing as Kilmarnock's got 3 big centre halves, and Daba's can play centre half as well. They'll be disappointed, but they held their line well, and the keeper's made a good save there. So worrying in one aspect that he got a free header, but the goalie done his job and managed to get it away.
Yeah, Will Dennis was terrific when called upon last weekend, just like his teammates really, albeit he didn't have all that much to do, which is a great credit to what was effectively a back 5 last weekend. But this is a different challenge.
I will already see a problem for Kilmarnock because Shankland's dropping into the hole, one of the centre halves of Kilmarnock's got to go and pick him up. It was Dees that time going away into midfield. They're not happy to do it because Hearts will rotate in there. One of the centre halves is going to have to jump forward into the midfield, and it's going to be an uncomfortable afternoon for one of them because they're right out of position there.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. Maybe forcing Derek McInnes, who does generally like to try and respond to any tactical tweaks from the opposition. So we'll see if he picks up on that early on as Devlin wins the ball on the halfway line and plays it out to Kingsley just inside the Kilmarnock half. 3 minutes in, it's still 0-0 between Hearts and Kilmarnock. Devlin has it, halfway line out to Kingsley once more. Facing up is Armstrong, and then Lowry, who perhaps didn't manage to get quite as involved as he and the Hearts fans would have liked against Rosenborg. But he tries the big switch, comes off Kyle McGuinness and out for a throw-in on this near side to Hearts, just inside their own half. Kingsley to take, looking for options down this left-hand side. Shankland, as Alan says, is dropping off the front with Tagawa, the out-and-out striker. But as he also points out, there's a good amount of interchange there with Lowry and Shankland drifting into each other's positions. Oda's sticking out on the right-hand side for now, as Kingsley takes another throw-in down the left-hand side, headed forward there by Lewis Mayo, who looks to me to be a good permanent acquisition for Kilmarnock, having enjoyed a good season on loan from Rangers last time. Oda picks up on the halfway line. It's a poor ball forward, though Dees reads it and plays it short to Lyons, who nudges it back to Mayo, and then it's back to the Killie keeper, who launches it long over the halfway line. It's won by Kent, nodded on by Haring, who's in for Beningame. Came on at half-time for the beleaguered Beningame, you have to say. It's a poor first half for the midfielder in Trondheim, involved in both the Rosenborg goals, but he'll come back from that. I think he slightly injured himself in trying to pull back one of the Rosenborg players in the lead up to the second goal. He's not involved in the squad today, but
shouldn't have been playing now.
Yeah,
too soon. 16 months out. I would start him in a European tie away from home after 10 minutes on the bench at St Johnstone. You could see he was short. I don't blame him at all. You know, I think it was a mistake by the management team, and they rectified that at half-time. I think he was going to have to come off anyway, injured, but I felt sorry for him.
Yeah, it was a tough first 45 for him, that's for sure. Frankie McAvoy, when I asked him about it post-match, said he deserved, he'd earned the start and they felt he was ready, but you're right, Alan, he definitely didn't look it to me. Anyway, Hearts have it, edge of their own penalty area, 5.5 minutes in, no goals yet. Peter Haring's header from an offside position, the only real test for either keeper so far. It's a ball forward, and that's Finlay having to keep a close eye both on Shankland and the ball as it came through, but he dealt with that fine and got it back to his keeper as Shankland just tried to peel away on the right shoulder. A good defending from the on loan centre-back, back in his fourth spell at Killie, 3 of those on loan from Oxford United this time.
A record.
It will be.
I mean, he's signing for a club 4 times.
Haring nudges it forwards. Shankland down for Devlin. Devlin back to Kai Rowles, the Australian. Plays it square to his central defensive partner, Frankie Kent. And now it goes to Oda on the right-hand side, just inside his own half. Hearts just probing for ways through. Kilmarnock sitting relatively deep just at the moment.
There's Dees jumping out again. Derek's clearly told him, whoever's closest to Shankland, just go all the way with him.
Here's Rowles stepping forward, tries the pass for Shankland, a little dummy there. Doesn't quite come off for Atkinson, and Kilmarnock can try and break as McGuinness feeds it out to the left-hand side, and Matty Kennedy picks up, cutting in off the left. A good pass infield for Watson, back to Kennedy, just tries to lift it over the Hearts defence, doesn't get quite enough on it, and Oda picks up possession. A neat turn from the Japanese, looks bright at the start of this season, and then Shankland feeds it with the outside of the right foot. Won't catch that one, will Tagawa, and it's out for a throw-in in this near side. Gary, if you're the Kilmarnock manager, are you happy with that tactic of one of your central three going in and following Lawrence Shankland, who's so clever in those areas?
I think is that they've obviously worked on it, also, but the thing is the other two have got to be switched on. They really have. They can't switch off and think, well, we're only dealing with one, because there'll be runners beyond. Oda's a clever player. Lowry's very clever as well. So if one of them switches off while Dees goes in and picks up, there's going to be a big space. So it's something they've worked on. It's working so far, but Shankland's clever. He's not just going to stand in there and he'll come wide. There was one instance early in the game he was standing wide left and Brad Lyons was over picking him up. So he's a clever boy, Lawrence, and he'll find space, and you need the back line to be very switched on for 90 minutes.
Yeah, 2 goals in his opening 2 games for the Hearts captain, just picking up where he left off last season. He scored Hearts' 8,000th league goal actually against St Johnstone last weekend, and pretty fitting, having had the season he did last year, becoming of course the first Hearts player since John Robertson to get 20 in the league, and he got 24 in total in the league by the end of the season, 28 in all competitions.
Me man's gutted. Honestly, he'll be telling you, oh, brilliant, Lawrence, well done. He's absolutely gutted.
Well, it was a long-standing record, wasn't it? But well, Lawrence Shankland's next challenge is to go and do it in multiple seasons, which Robbo also did.
Easy, the wee man all the time. No problem, back of the net. He's still claiming goals now.
Here's Tagawa, well challenged by Lyons, who well, he started the season really well, Brad Lyons, in the team, because he wasn't overly involved last campaign really, but he looks to be a first pick for Derek McInnes at the start of this campaign, and he tracked Tagawa all the way and knocked it out for a throw-in as Royals goes back the way to Kent, just in the edge of the centre circle. We've played 9 minutes, no goals, no real fuss for either keeper as yet, as Kent gets it back from Shankland. Kilmarnock sitting very deep just at the moment, midway inside their own half, just allowing Hearts the ball in this kind of halfway zone.
Again. Dees is now is at right back.
Yeah, almost man marking Shankland, isn't he? And Hearts looking to exploit the spaces that are left as Devlin tries a little back heel. Lyons had tracked him though, and is managing to clear that forward for Armstrong. Dees plays it forward down the right hand side. Kilmarnock can't keep the ball just at the moment though, and Rowell steps forward. Devlin with the flick for Lowry, gets it back to Devlin and slides Mayo, and it came off Devlin last. The referee spotted that and points for the goal kick to Kilmarnock. We've played almost 10 minutes. It's Hearts 0, Kilmarnock 0.
It's interesting because it's mostly in Kilmarnock's half, defensive half, and to continuously follow people about the park, and the mentality of doing that, they will tire. They'll tire quicker, not more the mental side rather than the physical, I think, Alan, to be honest. And I think that'll pick up more space, but as long as they can keep the back door closed, it gives them the impetus to keep going.
It's quite alien to them, one of them jumping out and playing there. You know, in that, there's Robbie Dees, who's a left-sided centre-half, find himself over on the right-hand side of the park. But you know what? They look as if the three of them, Finlay, Mayo and Dees, love defending. And you know what? This has been right up their street by the looks of it so far. But it'll be interesting, because if Shankland, there's Dees again going with Shankland, it's what Mayo and Finlay do. They need to close the gap between they two, because Dees is the central one. If he jumps out, the other two have to narrow, making sure there's no gaps for, like, say, Devlin or a Haring or a Lowry to run through.
Yeah, and Lowry's just popping up all over the park as well, just trying to confuse that Kilmarnock backline. But Kilmarnock are coping with it at this stage, although David Watts has just been penalised for barging Cam Devlin to the ground. Combative teenager, not allowing Devlin a moment's peace, but it will be a free kick to Hearts, 15 yards inside their own half, left of centre, to be taken by Rowles. He just plays it square to Kent. Still no goals at Fir Park between Motherwell and Hibernian. Our reporter Brian McLaughlin is there for us and will keep us up to date with any major incidents in that one. As Rowles again plays it square just inside his own half to Kent, and out to the right hand side where Oda's come deep. And it's a misplaced pass from him, and Kilmarnock will try and break down the left hand side, and Daba is well challenged by Oda, who recovers from his own error, and Daba takes the throw into the feet of McGuinness. Neat play from Daba, who gets the ball back from the midfielder. Oda sticking with him, breaks to Kennedy left hand side, headed away by Rowles from inside his own penalty area. Lyons takes over, plays it out to the right for Armstrong, but in steps Kingsley, and now Hearts can break. Left-hand side, Lowry looking to try and release Tagawa. Tagawa said he wanted it a few yards in front of him to run on to. It was almost to feet, and the Kilmarnock defender stepped in, and Kelly have it back, and it's Armstrong who tries to feed it forward for Watkins. Watkins gets it back to Armstrong, right-hand side, steps away from Rowles. Neat play from Armstrong, gets it back in the angle of the box from Watson. Right-hand side, faced up by Haring, tries the little nutmeg, then Haring just stands strong. Kilmarnock looking for a free kick for the challenge by Haring, but it's not forthcoming. Hearts come away, missed kick there by Mayo, but Dees is on hand to just scoop it high in the air. Kingsley nods it down onto the halfway line, bit scrappy just at the moment, but Kilmarnock work it out to the right-hand side. Armstrong, such a big player for them last season, and looking to continue that form this campaign as he comes in from the right-hand side. He's taken out by Devlin, and that'll be a free kick to Kilmarnock in a pretty useful area, right of the just outside the angle of the penalty area on the right-hand side, actually. And Armstrong, well, this could be an option for either a shot or a cross. Could be dangerous, and Hearts will have to be on their toes here. 13 in, Hearts nil, Kilmarnock nil.
It's been a very good 13 minutes for Kilmarnock, very good. Like you said, Alistair, making a wee bit bitty, a bit scrappy, and then they've got the flair of Armstrong at the top end, like last season. I'd like him to score a few more goals, to be honest, as a Kilmarnock fan, but he's a constant threat at the top end of the park. For me, it's strange that teams don't try and exploit him defensively, because he's almost like a winger back, because he's playing out here, but he wants to be in the top end of the pitch, not back defending, and I've not seen too many teams pushing back the other way, but that's a great opportunity.
Yeah, so it's either the right foot of Matty Kennedy or the in-swinger on the left from Danny Armstrong, who did get 12 goals, which is not a bad tally from wing. That's a poor delivery from Kennedy, headed away by Shankland, picked up by Watson, and feeds it back out to Armstrong on the right-hand side. He wants Kennedy to go beyond them, but he does whip it back in, nodded on, and then nodded a goal by Dees. It's a comfortable take for Zander Clark, his first touch of the ball more or less, and he immediately fires it forward looking to release Shankland, but back goes Watson to head it down for Armstrong just inside his own half, spins away from Lowry, almost quarter of an hour gone, and it's 0-0 as Armstrong gets the better of Kingsley. He's challenged there by Devlin, good tenacity by Devlin, and then a good bit of skill as well to back heel for Lowry, but he didn't realise that Watkins was backtracking, and he dispossesses him, and then Watson steps away from Devlin. Watkins takes back over. He's lost out now, pulls back Lowry, and it will be a Hearts free kick on this left-hand side. Almost quarter of an hour gone, as I say. Hearts nil, Kilmarnock nil.
It's a big threat, Armstrong, Gary, real big threat. He was terrific here last year as well. Causes all sorts of concern for Kingsley or Cochran, whoever's playing on that left side for Hearts. But Lowry there just has to do things sharper. The ball comes to his feet. He's not aware of this player closing him down. He needs to move the ball quicker.
Kent lifts it over the defender on the right-hand side for Hearts. Atkinson picks up but can't do much with it, and it's knocked out of play for a Hearts throw-in over on the far side, which is the Hearts right.
The thing is, though, Alan, it's Kingsley against Armstrong. It's almost like Kingsley doesn't want to go too high up the park, but if you maybe put a more attacking player out here and make Armstrong defend against somebody who's just as tricky, would be interesting. Maybe move Oda over this side.
Here's Rowles, more or less in the centre spot, a little bit hesitant. Shankland comes in, offers himself short. Dees, as Alan has been pointing out, tracking him all the way to almost the halfway line. Here come Kilmarnock on the break, it's Lyons. Can he find the pass on the left-hand side? It's Kennedy's coming in, but Hearts get men back, and it was Kent who got the crucial touch, and then Rowles with the clearance, and Kilmarnock just with a little bit more precision would have been in there. But Lyons just didn't quite have the speed to go himself, or the precision on the pass to find Kennedy, and the chance is gone, 0-0.
Great break. He just maybe held the pass a wee bit too long. He should have maybe played it earlier, but it was a great break. But then look at the work rate to get back behind the ball for Kilmarnock. That's what they're about. That's how Derrick's got them going at the minute, and it's shown here.
Hearts have it inside the centre circle. Kai Rowles, the left-footed Australian centre-back. He's forced to check back though, because there's no easy options for him ahead of him, so he has to go all the way back to Zander Clark just outside the D of his own penalty area. 16.5 minutes on the clock, and it's 0-0, and pretty evenly matched. Hearts probably having more of the attacking play, but Killie look a threat on the counter, as they proved just a moment ago on a slightly better pass, slightly better timed pass, as Gary's saying, might have released Kennedy on the edge of the box, but it was cut out by the Hearts defence, and that's why it's still goalless, as Hearts have a throw-in on the left-hand side, more or less in line with the 18-yard line as they attack, and it'll be taken by Kingsley. Oh, David Dickinson is asking for the throw-in to be taken again. As there was another ball in the park, it was literally being thrown off. It was virtually off. I mean, that's just nitpicking beyond belief. And I don't know, maybe I'm getting overly frustrated for nothing, but it seems pointless. Anyway, Hearts have it. Oda on the right-hand side, back to Kent, just inside his own half. Again, he turns back to his goalkeeper, who promptly plays it out to Rowles. Talking of Hearts goalkeepers, Craig Gordon not too far away from a return to fitness as Lawrence Shanklin finds a lovely ball down the left for Lowry. Lowry on the left-hand side of the penalty area, can't get the better there. Well, Brad Lyons, the Kilmarnock skipper, doing a really good job because he was one-on-one, but Lowry gets the break of the ball again, plays it back to Kingsley. Infield it goes, midway inside the Killie half. Now it's Haring for Shanklin, back to the Austrian midfielder. And now Kent rolls out to Kingsley on the left-hand side. Hearts seen plenty of the ball in this attacking third, but struggling to create any clear-cut chances, and the ball's given away again. And that clearance seemed to come off Kingsley.
It's a real tactical game. It really is. And it is. It's a Kilmarnock throw.
Yeah,
it did come off Kingsley. That's right.
Yeah, it is.
No, but looking at Lowry, he's a real confident player, a confidence player as well. The crowd, if they get on his back, he may disappear. He's a young boy, remember, not had a lot of first-team experience. They need to try and keep off his back. He's lost the ball a couple of times.
Yeah, the thing is, though, Alan, it's the hardest part of football, scoring a goal, and he's trying to create in the final third. You want to be brave and take people on. See if he loses it, he's lost it in the right area, and they're too quick to jump on his back there. I felt, just go and keep taking them on. At one chance you'll get past them.
Lyons takes the throw-in down the right-hand side. Rowles knocks it forward. Shanklin picks up possession about 10 yards inside the Killie half. Well matched there by Mayo, and he's going to break for Kennedy. Kennedy is more or less up on his own, but he's going to run it. Frankie Kent tries to get the shot off. It's blocked by the Hearts defender, and it will be a Kilmarnock corner.
I don't know why he's not dragging it out with his left. He was almost waiting for the defender to make an option. Sometimes you've got to make it happen. Good defending, you'd say, but I think he's got to drag it on his left and get a cleaner strike away.
Now, I didn't think Kent was a favourite there, to be honest. I thought with Kennedy running at him, drive it on with real pace, back him into the box, and you're rightly say, shift it on his left foot, get the strike away. Good defending in the end.
There's a couple of times though Kilmarnock have looked pretty dangerous on the break, and if they can just maybe commit a couple of more bodies forward in those situations, they might be onto something. But they have a chance here, certainly from the corner kick to be taken from the left-hand side by Kennedy. Plenty of bodies in blue and white stripes in and around that 6-yard box.
It's on at the edge of the box as well.
Swung into the 6-yard box, and absolutely no one at the back post. That's such a strange, I mean, a real mix-up there, you would have to think. And it's gone out for a throw-in in this near side, and a waste of an opportunity there for Kilmarnock. 20 minutes in, no goals.
That's a frustrating thing. You throw your 3 centre-halves up and then there's no one in that back area where the ball's played in.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of a breakdown in communication there almost, as Killie pick up though the loose ball in the middle of the park. McGuinness gets to it before Oda. He plays it out to Ndaba, who finds Kennedy. Kennedy looking to take on Atkinson. He takes him on the outside, left boot ball in. It's swept away by Kent up to the halfway line. Finlay, Kilmarnock looking more and more comfortable in the game. They were on the back foot for periods, but they've just lost the ball. And a chance for Hearts to break, and it was a late challenge. David Dickinson tried to play advantage. Nat Atkinson was caught late, and he's going to bring it back with Hearts having run into trouble, and it'll be a free kick the home side's way, midway inside their own half.
I think, to go on Biscuit's point, is you can hear a wee bit of frustration in the home fans. You can start feeling it after 20 minutes that they're not happy, the ball's not going forward quick enough, and that's playing into Kilmarnock's hand. Kilmarnock won't overcommit, Arthur. It'll be on the counter break, Kennedy getting it, Armstrong getting it, picking up and running. Maybe Watson will go at times to help Watkins, but they won't overcommit. It's counter-attacking football, and we've seen for 20 minutes we're frustrated and they've had chances and probably could have done better with them.
Stephen Naismith just pulled Peter Haring over and given him a message. He's walked right over to young Alex Lowry.
It's Tagawa on the edge of the box trying a spectacular effort, couldn't connect with the ball. It's good play though from Lowry. Kingsley's a dangerous ball, no Hearts player at the edge of the 6-yard box, but it's kept alive by Oda. Now Atkinson back to Oda, right hand side, tries to swing the ball in, comes off Ndaba, who stands firm and then knocks the ball out of play, but better from Hearts, and it was Lowry who was involved, and Kingsley's delivery from the left hand side was on a plate. Had any Hearts players gambled, but there was no takers in the middle. It's a quarter of the game gone and it's still goalless, but the Hearts fans more encouraged by what they saw there as Shankland just tries to nod it forward inside the penalty area of Kilmarnock, but it's cleared away. Stephen Naismith out at the edge of the technical area looking to ball some instructions on to his players. Throw in taken by Atkinson right in front of the Hearts technical area. Back the way it goes to Kent, and now Rowles and out to the left hand side for Kingsley, who, as Alan mentioned earlier, put it on the head of Shankland for the goal back in Trondheim, and it gives Hearts a real chance of qualifying, albeit they do trail 2-1 coming back here against Rosenborg on Thursday. But the tie very much alive, and having been out there for that first leg, I wasn't overly impressed by Rosenborg, and Hearts definitely have a good chance of progressing. Here is Haring, and now Atkinson, edge of the box, clips it in, it's just over Tagawa. Kingsley coming in, he can't wrap his left foot around it to get it back across goal, and it's behind for a goal kick, but more encouraging for Hearts. Again, 23 minutes in though, it's Hearts 0, Kilmarnock 0.
I think that's in the areas they can get, in the wider areas if possible. You know, Oda one side, Kingsley the other, or Lowry if possible, because it's congested in that middle of the park when you see Shankland dropping short, the Kilmarnock back three being really tight. There's a lot of numbers in there, so they're going to have to go into the wider areas, Hearts. But I think it's a very even game. I think Kilmarnock have just had the better of the chances.
Shankland loses out in the middle of the park to Dees. It's miscontrolled there, the Hearts skipper, allowing Dees to step in. Armstrong forward, and whipped out to the right hand side for Watson by Kennedy. Watson just leaves it to Armstrong, about 25 yards from the goal line, right out on the right touch line. Forward for Watson again, he can't quite bring it under control, but then Devlin misplaces his pass for Lowry, and it's out for a throw into Kilmarnock right hand side, midway inside the Hearts half. 24 minutes played and no goals and no major chances, you would have to say, to speak of, as Lyons plays it back to the halfway line for Mayo to Finlay, just inside the centre circle. Back it goes to Mayo, a couple of yards inside his own half, feeds it down the right channel for Kennedy, who's drifted over to this right hand side. Can he keep it in? It's just skidding off the surface. Rowles in close proximity just knocks it out of play. He was looking for the throw in, he thought it came off Kennedy last, but the throw in goes the visitors' way, just a couple of yards from the corner flag on Kelly's right, and Armstrong will leave this to young David Watson, who's just 18 years old, but has already got a monstrous throw on him, and a real bit of potential in the midfield for Kilmarnock.
You got their goal like this last week, was it a long throw in?
Yeah, it was exactly this position, Alan. It's flicked on at the near post by Dees, comes all the way back out to Watson, just pokes it beyond Devlin, tries to keep it in. Shankland's there, and it'll be a Kilmarnock corner as Shankland blocks the cross from David Watson. He is a young player with tremendous potential, Gary.
100%. He's probably a typical Scottish footballer. His energy, he's robust, he loves a tackle. He just needs to refine it, but that'll come with age and getting game time. But he's certainly part of the engine room for Kilmarnock week in, week out. It's somebody you can rely on for a young man, and he just needs to refine the other aspects of the game. But his sleeves rolled up, gets stuck in, wins tackles, wins headers, and he's a willing runner.
Armstrong's corner from the right hand side, left footed. Zander Clark makes a mess of the punch. Peter Haring bails him out by just hoofing the ball out of play, but Clark offers the hand of acknowledgement because he came out, tried to one-hand punch it, and he just really skiffed off his glove and fell inside the penalty area, but no Kilmarnock player was on hand to sweep it in, and Hearts survived 0-0 after 26 minutes. But that was a let-off, Alan.
A dreadful goalkeeping, really is. Decision making, he could have caught it. He comes with one punch and punches it down a yard.
Here's Kennedy, McGuinness now inside the penalty area, just wouldn't fall for Watkins, almost taken off his toe by Watson, and Zander Clark able to gather, but it's the visiting fans who are encouraged just in the last few minutes. There's really nothing to pick between these sides after 26 minutes, 0-0 it stands.
Yes, I've got to say, I think Kilmarnock have had the better of the chances. The Hearts haven't really created a lot just now. Keeper's not had a safety mate. Neither has Clark, to be honest, but they've had efforts where the likes of Lyons has gone through, Kennedy's gone through. Poor punch there by Clark. That will just give Kilmarnock encouragement, and tactically so far it's been spot on from them.
It's early days, but I've heard a number of pundits and indeed some Kilmarnock players saying there's no reason why we shouldn't push for that top 6 this season, and on the early season evidence they're not far off the mark, I would suggest, Gary.
No, they're not, but it's looking at the chances and taking chances, and we don't score a lot of goals. That's the problem, and you saw today so far, Lyons has went through, misplaced a pass, Kennedy's went through, and he's done a great bit of skill about 2 minutes later on wide and dragged on his left and whipped a cross on, but he doesn't take the shot on his left. So it's the thing of, it's great defending and playing in the counter attack, but if you're not scoring enough goals, it only takes one goal against you then how do we change it? But at the minute, I think we're, like Biscuit said, I think we've been on top of the game, and with chances created we're ahead, but neither goalkeeper's really had a save apart from the one that Kilmarnock's goalkeeper saved, but it was the offside header.
I've got to say though, Gary, that's a completely different, it is personnel, but the way they're playing, the confidence they've got, Kilmarnock, what a different side from last season. And Derek always said that, but it's taken a bit of time, to get up from the Championship and then settle in the Premier League.
It's getting energy in the team, Alan. It's getting energy in the team and
strike
runners.
Someone that'll put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, but I think a lot of teams are looking for that, but Kilmarnock have got energy now. They've got willing runners. So they've got Kennedy up there who just likes to travel with it. Armstrong's great. We know what he did from last year, which probably was a breakout season for him. You've got young Watson, who's a willing runner. McGuinness is a runner. So they've got that energy in there to get up and help, but we need goals.
Kilmarnock have a free kick whipped into the Hearts penalty area by Armstrong, defended, but then Watson returns it. Kent's there the second time around. Lyons trying to keep it alive. The referee almost getting in Daba's way as he tried to get on the ball, and it's broken back to the halfway line to Armstrong. Down the left-hand side it goes off. Finlay breaks off in Daba as Atkinson tries to clear, and all the way behind for a Hearts goal kick, which allows us an opportunity to cross the Fir Park to hear what's been happening in the early stages here from Brian McLaughlin.
Still 0-0 here, Al, after almost half an hour played. A very stuffy game. The teams formation-wise matching like for like, 3-5-2, and as I say, very stuffy so far. A couple of half chances for each side. Blair Spiddle with a shot from 20 yards for Motherwell was deflected wide. Just prior to that, Dylan Levitt again from 25 yards, an effort that was right off the right-hand post of Liam Kelly. Yeah, but no real opportunities for the strikers so far. It's 0-0 here at Fir Park.
Thanks, Brian. You rejoin us just as Lawrence Shankland finds himself in the referee's notebook for a little pull back there as David Watson tried to pick up a loose ball in the middle of the park. First yellow card of the game, and it goes the way of the Hearts captain, and that means Kilmarnock have a free kick. It's just inside the centre circle, but it's another opportunity to throw several of their taller players forward. Dees, Finlay, Ndaba, and Mayo's hung back, but the rest of them are up there. And it'll be Matty Kennedy just inside the centre circle on the half-hour mark to loft it into the penalty area. Haring's favourite to win it, and indeed he does. Watson though gets his head to the second ball, and Daba nods it back to him, left-hand side. Watson back to Kennedy. Kennedy will go back to Mayo, who's the last Killie man, who plays it all the way back, taking absolutely no chances there, and plays it back to his goalkeeper, who knocks it long. Looking for McGuinness to win it, but Kent commanding in the air. Watkins slides in, wins the ball ahead of Lowry. Hearts fans didn't like it, but he won it cleanly, reckoned the referee, as Lowry battles away to win it back, go off Watkins. And now Kingsley back to Rowles inside his own penalty area. Half an hour gone, very evenly matched game so far. Hearts 0, Kilmarnock 0, and Armstrong can't keep it in on this near side. And the Hearts fans, I think, letting David Dickinson know that they reckon that should have been a free kick.
Fair challenge. Nothing in that.
Throwing two Hearts then midway inside their own half to be taken by Kingsley. Both goalkeepers, virtual spectators in the opening half hour or so. As Armstrong wins it back for Kilmarnock, but not for long. Kingsley plays it off him though, and it will spin back to the edge of the Hearts penalty area, where Xander Clark just comes out and then rolls it left-footed back into his penalty area, all in fluorescent yellow. Xander Clark today, as he looks for options up the park. And Hearts fans, you can possibly hear in the background, just sound a little bit restless. More restless with the way the first half has gone. As Shankland, though, tries to make some headway down the left-hand side. Can't get the better of Armstrong. Was he being tugged? Again, the Hearts fans are looking for a free kick, so too was Lawrence Shankland. David Dickinson saw nothing wrong, and play continues with Hearts back in possession just inside their own half.
No, I don't think there was anything in it. I think Lawrence just miscontrolled the ball as he tried to get past. I think he's just get control of it and play behind him. His body's behind it.
There's another misplaced pass there from Kingsley, but back comes Oda to intercept the pass forward from Kelly. And Hearts have it through Atkinson just inside his own half, and then back to Kent. Kilmarnock extremely well organised off the ball at this stage, really difficult to break down, but here's Oda looking to try and pose them a few problems down the right hand side. Now it's Atkinson coming in off the right, gets the ball back from Shankland, then pokes it to Lowry. Lowry tries to lift it into the path of Shankland, but it passes off. But again, it's good work from Oda. He's done really well. He's won it back. Plays it to Shankland, angle of the box, left hand side. Can he find the pass from Devlin? It's just held up slightly by Shankland there. Back though with Haring, who'll go for goal from distance, and it's not too far wide as Will Dennis threw himself to his right, and it's a yard or so past his right hand post as it remains Hearts 0, Kilmarnock 0.
First real effort from Hearts. Goes wide of the target. When the ball squared initially, it's played to Devlin, you think, oh, he's not going to hit it because he's not a prolific scorer. Then it goes to Haring, who again isn't a prolific scorer from midfield, but it's a decent enough effort. But then it's goes wide of the target.
I'll be honest though, Alan, if Haring's getting the ball 30 yards for goal and hitting a shot, I don't think Kilmarnock keeper's overly worried with his record and that. I think Shankland getting it where he did and then playing it, I think he could have played a better ball to Devlin to go on and maybe have a strike, but I think he hit it too far across him. So Kilmarnock done their job defensively. If they're limiting a shot for 30 yards, which, don't get me wrong, I don't want to kiss of death and he puts one in the top bin, but his stats shows that he doesn't do it that often.
Still goalless then with about 11 minutes to go until the interval. Both sides are still very evenly matched in these opening 34 minutes now of the game, as Finlay just hooks the ball over his head and up towards the halfway line. Haring wins the header on the halfway line. Dees though takes a touch, plays it forward. Can't find a Kelly teammate, but I must say that Dees, having made the step up from the Championship, looks very much at home at this level. Alan, he's a good defender. He proved that with him against Cali Thistle, and he's doing well for Kilmarnock thus far.
Do you know what he's done, Alistair? He didn't stay at Celtic at 18 years of age. He wanted out. He went to Cowdenbeath in League 2, then he stepped up to Alloa, then to Inverness, and now he finds himself in the Premier League with Kilmarnock and got 160 games under his belt. So he's done it the right way.
Yeah, it's worked out well for him. And Kilmarnock certainly limiting Hearts to very few chances so far, and posing a bit of a threat in the counter, but it breaks the way of Shankland now left hand side. You get a couple of players round him though. Support arrives in the shape of Stephen Kingsley, left hand side for Hearts up towards the edge of the penalty area, left hand side sliding challenge again. That looked to come off Kingsley, but this time David Dickinson points for the corner. Lyons slid in, looked to me like it might have come off Kingsley last, but David Dickinson much closer to the play than I am, and he awards the corner kick from this left hand side for Hearts with 10 minutes to go until the break. Hearts looking for a breakthrough. Lowry to take the corner from the left, right footed.
That's good delivery normally, Lowry, but last week at St Johnstone he kept hitting the first post, front man.
Looks for that dangerous ball, and it's all the way across goal and behind. Somehow it takes absolutely no... Oh, it actually did take a touch off a Kilmarnock player according to the referee, because he points for a corner kick on the far side, but it looked to go almost all the way across. Didn't really get more than a yard or two away from the goal line, as it was missed by absolutely everyone, it appeared. But perhaps there was a Kilmarnock touch on it, if the referee is to be believed, and it's a corner kick on the far side, but that was a good delivery. No end product though for Hearts. 9 minutes till the break, still 0-0. There we
go.
As Hearts player Peter Haring hits the deck before the corner can be taken, and the referee just wants
Ndaba grabs him, and Haring's shirt is almost off his back.
It's McGuinness who's been spoken to certainly, but Ndaba's just picking himself up off the ground as well. And David Dickinson and Greg Aitken in the VAR room will be keeping a close eye on things as the ball eventually comes in, as Lowry prepares to deliver from the right hand side this time. Back post ball, it's headed away by Dees, and Kilmarnock looking to counter. Dees right up with Armstrong on the counter. Armstrong, can he find a switch for Kennedy? It's a good ball. Kennedy angle of the box on the left hand side. Kilmarnock got plenty of players forward. Back goes Shankland to try and stop the cross coming in. He's held him up well. Applauded by the Hearts fans who recognise the danger there, but still Kilmarnock have it. It's Mayo right hand side, fires in the diagonal, almost comes to Kennedy, but it was Atkinson that time getting a crucial header in. It's picked up by Oda right hand side for Hearts. Just feeds it forward rather hopefully, and Dees is back there now and hoists it clear for the visitors up towards Watkins. Kent gets there ahead of him and then nodded back by Haring to Xander Clark. The Hearts fans urging their team on, looking for an opener before the half-time whistle, which is about 6.5 minutes away. Still 0-0. Here's Lowry midway inside the Kelly half. Reverse pass for Shankland, tries it back heel, but it was read well by Finlay. Just stood up and didn't commit himself. Armstrong looking for a free kick, but it falls kindly for Watkins in the halfway, and Kelly on the break once more. Left hand side, Kennedy running at Watkins, takes the shot on. Xander Clark throws himself to his right, got a glove to it, and it'll be a Kelly corner.
It's a wee bit of basketball at the minute, end to end, without, well, to be fair, Kennedy gets a shot away there, but it's a wee bit too open probably for Hearts' liking, which is playing into Kilmarnock. They're getting the counter, they're winning it back and pressing up there, but they're not overcommitting, as we said, so they're getting bodies back and behind the ball and managing to win it. But they've got runners, as I keep talking about. They've got runners, they've got energy in the team, and probably Hearts are finding that the lack of the League Cup games, Alan, is in that pace of the game. They're struggling to maintain their high press.
I get they're trying to help the teams in Europe, but it hinders them at the start of the season. It always does. They don't play enough games.
Armstrong's corner, left hand side, fired in left footed, headed away at the edge of the area by Haring. No Hearts players up there to collect though, and it'll be returned by Mayo. Big switch of play out to Armstrong. It's a brilliant ball. First touch from Armstrong, tries to play it beyond Oda, but Oda had read it and was quick enough to turn and spins away from Armstrong and clears it. And it's good play defensively, but it's a rather aimless ball forward, and Dees just returns it, and Watkins will get onto it. And it's kept in by Kennedy, and then Armstrong picks up left hand side for Kilmarnock. Devlin battling away to win it, but Kilmarnock also scrapping away, and they have it back. It's McGuinness. It's a foul there by Devlin. He is, and David Dickinson didn't like the challenge. Devlin points to a previous challenge from a Kilmarnock player that he didn't like, but the referee's not interested as he issued Devlin with the yellow and gives Kilmarnock a free kick not too far outside the Hearts penalty area. Still 0-0 with 5 minutes left to go before the half-time whistle sounds.
His reputation gets some yellow cards, Devlin. Yeah, he's harshly treated. I think there might have been a foul on the far side, but then he flies into a tackle, and you can't, if the referee's not going to blow, you can't just do that. You know, it probably feels harshly done, but yet another yellow card.
Yeah, he's accumulated a few of those in his time in a maroon jersey. Cam Devlin, I don't think anyone would want to take his tenacity out of his style of play, but a couple of
there's tenacity,
yeah,
and then there's taking the law into your own hands, and that's what he's done. He feels aggrieved. I'll just dive in and make it because I feel aggrieved. That's not tenacity. That's just being stupid in my eyes, and it could cost him here.
Could do. About, what, 30 yards out. Kennedy left to centre, lining one up. Right footed, goes for goal, takes a deflection on its way through. Corner kick to Kilmarnock. Could have been worse. The ball doing its job to just take it wide, as Hearts have a bit more defending to do to ensure at worst they go in goalless at half-time. But Kilmarnock very much in this game, very much in the contest. It's been evenly matched, as we've said a few times. And here's Armstrong from the left-hand side once more to send it into the 6-yard box. Up goes Ndaba. Might have got a slight glance on that, but not much more, as it comes all the way out to Watson, right-hand side. He swings it back in. It's a good-looking ball. Dees gets his head to it, and it's going to just drift wide of goal in the end. As Xander Clark watched pretty comfortably, it seemed, content that it was going to drift wide. But Kilmarnock have had chances in this first period, but it does remain Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0.
Yeah, certainly in the opening 41 minutes, Alistair have had the better of the chances, you know, and you look at them going forward, they look energetic. You know, they've got pace in the wider areas with Kennedy and Armstrong. set plays as well. They're a threat. We can see that there. That header just drifts wide of the target. And Hearts have got the work cut out. We can see there's a great venue for Kilmarnock to come and play. And it seems to be the case. I think Derek McInnes' side have played very well in this opening half.
And they've drawn 1 and won 6 of the last 8 visits to Tynecastle Kilmarnock. I'm not sure anyone will have a better record than that. Maybe Celtic if you're lucky, but beyond that, it's an incredible record. But they're enjoying themselves this afternoon as well, but haven't been able to find a goal, nor of Hearts. And so with 3 minutes left in the first period, we still await the first goal, as we do at Fir Park as well, between Motherwell and Hibs. Remember, Celtic winning 3-1 earlier on up at Pittodrie. Very impressive victory for Brendan Rodgers' side as they look to claim a 3rd successive title. Here come Kilmarnock. Left-hand side, it's Kennedy. Whips it in, glanced on by McGuinness. Good save from Xander Clark. Well, that's the best effort of the game. Clark down to his near post from the right-hand side to turn it behind. That might well have crept in.
Oh, it's a great save, but it's great build-up play. And I think 42 minutes into the game, the confidence that Kilmarnock plays, you can see them all growing. They're all getting bigger as the game goes on, and that happens when you're playing well and you're creating chances. And they've got a confidence. They've quietened the home crowd. Very quiet. There's very little noise coming from the Hearts, and that gives the Kilmarnock players the impetus to go and play. And great save there.
Matty Kennedy, left-hand side, right-footed, swings it into the 6-yard box. Clark gets a good fist at that time, and he was being impeded, reckons the referee, and it will be a free kick to Hearts with just a couple of minutes left in this first period. But yeah, that does go down as a good save from Xander Clark, Alan, to keep out McGuinness' effort.
Yeah, brilliant save. Good play by Kilmarnock again. Good hit by McGuinness, and a great save by Xander, diving to his right-hand side, knocking it away for a corner.
You'll see the highlights of this game and the other 2 from today, as well as the best of yesterday's action on Sports Scene tonight, 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel, and again at 11:30 on BBC One. No goals, as I mentioned, from this game or the one at Fir Park as yet.
I think with that McGuinness, but that McGuinness effort, all the pace is on the cross. When it comes in, it's whipped in at pace. Really good ball in. He just gets the slightest of glances on it. It's a really good save.
And Shankland, who's already on a yellow, just has another foul there in the middle of the park. I don't think by any measure it would have been a second yellow.
4th official.
I mean, you can understand Kilmarnock claiming, but I don't think that's a second yellow in anyone's book. But
it probably isn't, Alistair, but if he hadn't been booked, it's probably getting a booking.
You think?
Yeah, because he's frustrated. He keeps giving the ball away. The ball keeps bouncing off him. You could just see frustration. And to be fair, I think it's his 3rd or 4th foul. So if it hadn't been booked, he would have got booked for that one. So it'd have been a soft second yellow, but you can't just keep giving fouls away because you're frustrated within the game.
But one thing you would probably say is that he's not getting many more.
No, definitely not, because they're silly ones and they're eye-catching in front of the referee. It's not getting a wee niggle or a pull. He's actually taking people out.
Shankland trying to help the ball on for Lowry. Gets it back to Shankland, but in steps Ndaba on the edge of the Kilmarnock area. Hearts looking to press for the opener just in the cusp of half-time. We're into stoppage time, of which there's 1 minute at the end of this first half. Hearts have a throw-in on the left-hand side, midway inside the Kilmarnock half. Kilmarnock have defended stoutly when they've had to, and they've had their opportunities on the break. And certainly Xander Clark has had to be called into action a couple of times, most obviously for that Kyle McGuinness flashing header just a few moments ago. But here's Atkinson at the other end, plays it square just beyond Devlin, but it'll be picked up by Lowry, left-hand side, whips it in. Oh, Shankland has been dragged to the ground there, was he, by Stuart Findlay? Well, that's his claim, and the Hearts fans are on their feet claiming for a penalty. David Dickinson just moves away as it's picked up by Will Dennis. That looked like a decent shout.
Yeah, it'll be looked at. That's the thing. It will certainly be looked at. That's the good thing about the game now. It looked at, as you said, a decent shout. The referee's looking right at it. Doesn't really see enough in it, but it'll be checked.
Well, Stuart Findlay had his arms round Lawrence Shankland, maybe just let him go in good enough time as Tagawa tries the shot from the edge of the box after the layoff from Shankland. Alan's right, it will of course be looked at by Greg Aitken, who's in the VAR room this afternoon, but I suspect that that's not going to be one that will be overturned. The on-field decision was no penalty, and I'm not sure there'll be enough in it necessarily for that to be deemed a clear and obvious error, but it was certainly worth a claim as the half-time whistle goes, and the boos are for David Dickinson, the referee, because the Hearts fans reckon that right on the stroke of half-time they should have had a penalty as Stuart Findlay grappled with Lawrence Shanklin inside the box, but nothing was given, and that means at half-time, with few chances, it has to be said, in a very well contested and competitive first half, Zander Clark with the best save of the opening period, saving from a Kyle McGuinness glancing header just a couple of minutes before the interval. But that was really that for goalmouth action. Very even game so far at Tynecastle. At half-time, it's Hearts 0, Kilmarnock 0.
On digital radio,
FM,
online at BBC Sports Scotland,
your smart speaker,
and on BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
Off the planet! What a strike! What a goal!
Mornings with Kay Adams and Stephen Jardine.
Join the conversation.
With exam results out, where does your young person go from here?
Well, we didn't get what we expected. We got much, much better. So it's changed the possibilities.
The A9 then.
Yes, the road is quite dangerous and it's a little bit unique.
Mornings across Scotland.
Your calls and your stories.
Artificial intelligence is just going to completely take the whole lot of us over.
Are you a modern day Luddite, Jean?
Yeah, if you like, I'm anything you want to call me.
Is there a more ludicrous comedian in Britain?
Yeah, I put that on the poster, Philip. I thought I liked that. Yeah.
Weekdays from 9 on BBC Radio Scotland.
Well, right now you're listening to Sports Sound with me, Richard Gordon, having done the early part of the programme from Pittodrie, where Celtic beat Aberdeen by 3-1. Hot-footed it up to the Aberdeen studio. Listening in to the guys there, great commentary from Tynecastle, goalless it is. Hearts against Kilmarnock. We'll chat more with them in just a moment or two, and we will incidentally get to hear from the two managers in the wake of that game at Pittodrie. There was a slight issue earlier on getting those interviews to you, so we'll hear from Brendan Rodgers and Barry Robson shortly. Let's hear first from Brian McLaughlin. He's at the other Premiership match this afternoon at Fir Park, Motherwell against Hibernian.
Yes, Richard, it's Motherwell 0, Hibernian 0, a case of 45 minutes where both teams really cancelled each other out, playing in the very similar formations, 3-5-2. However, the home side, you'd have to say, finished the half much the better. Blair Spittle came close midway through the half with a shot that was deflected wide, and then just 5 minutes before the break, Richard, a VAR check after Slattery had gone down inside the box after a challenge by Miller. It looked to be not too much in it, and that was also the decision of the video referee Chris Graham. But seconds later, the best chance of the game came for the home side. Suarez with a cross into the box, Dan Casey with a brilliant header that came off the apex of bar and post. Bear followed up with a rebound that was just wide of the goal, but that's been the best chance of the game so far for Hibernian. It's been a little light, to be fair, up front. Dylan Levitt with a shot from 25 yards after just 4 minutes. That's been the only real attempt at goal by Hibernian in the first half. Don't be too surprised if we see the likes of Martin Boyle in the second half. However, half-time here at Fir Park, it's Motherwell 0, Hibernian 0.
I just fear that we curse these matches in the build-up, just chatting about the fact that they're generally very entertaining, certainly, usually, plenty goals, Motherwell Hibernian, and I can think of a few games between Hearts and Killie that have also been pretty goal-laden as well. But 0-0 it is at Fir Park, 0-0 at Tynecastle. Alan, there seemed to be a big shout just towards the end of the half there. I can't help you out because where I am, I can't get access to the games, but it sounded as if the Hearts fans certainly were calling for it. Lawrence Shanklin calling for the penalty right at the stroke of half-time.
Yeah, it seemed Finlay had his arms round him. I'm not so sure there's enough in it, Richard. Shanklin's backing in and Finlay's maybe just being strong. He certainly had his arms round him. Whether or not it's a penalty, but clearly it's not. Greg Aitken in the VAR studio said no, it's not. And Hearts they've not been great. They've done all right, I would say. Not created anything at all to cause concern. I think the Kilmarnock defence has been very, very well organised. Shanklin going into that pocket at the start of the game, but Dees is the one that's been going into midfield to pick him up. They've all played well, Kilmarnock really have. They've been the better side. Real power and pace in the wider areas with Armstrong and Kennedy and McGuinness having that shot just before just before half time that Zander Clark turned away for a corner. It's been all right, the game's been okay without being brilliant. Kilmarnock certainly had the better of it, in my opinion. More chances, just look better. And although they look as if they're a counter-attacking team, they like Hearts to come down on top of them. Then they can break with pace in the wider areas and flood men forward. Hearts need to do better. It's just not simply been good enough. They've created virtually nothing.
So Kilmarnock, Gary, just almost picked up where they left off last week against Rangers.
They have indeed, and probably a wee bit more of an attacking threat when the Hearts have kind of overcommitted. It's been a really enjoyable game for me, sitting watching it, and there's a wee bit of edge to it, and the crowd's involved. I think the way Kilmarnock's playing, and I said to Alistair, Kilmarnock players are growing minute by minute. The more they've getting a success of winning the ball back and breaking, Hearts look a wee bit leggy, if I'm being honest. I touched on it. I think the lack of competitive games is shown, whereas Kilmarnock have just had a really tough game last Saturday, because you know you've got to work really hard against Old Firm no matter what, in possession, out possession, and that stands them good stead. And the players are growing in stature minute by minute, and it's been really entertaining without a lot of goalmouth action. There's been a lot of good 50-50 challenges at times. There's a wee bit of frustration for the Hearts players, like Cammy Devlin getting booked and Shankland getting booked as well. So it's been entertaining to watch, but probably Derek will be ruining the chances they had, the breakaways they had. They should have made more of them. They didn't watch Xander Clark enough until McGuinness's header, which was a great header from a great cross, but they've had better chances on the break to open Hearts up and get more shots on target.
Right, goalless it is. Half-time, Hearts Kilmarnock. More to come from Gary and from Alan, and indeed from Al Lamont, our commentator, and we'll keep you right across Motherwell against Hibernian. Earlier there was full live commentary from Bitordry, Abada, Kyogo and O'Reilly, the goal scorers for Celtic, in a 3-1 win against Aberdeen. Miofsky having drawn Aberdeen level in the first half. So reaction to that one now. First of all, from the Celtic manager, Brendan Rodgers.
Brendan, just give us your assessment of that.
Yeah, it was a very good win for us. Obviously a difficult game. Conditions, obviously pitch was very long, which slowed the ball for us, but the guys coped very well with it. So I think it was a really good game for us to win this early stage in the season, going a goal up and then getting pulled back. But we showed a good mentality in the game, and Barry, obviously, since he's come in, he's made the team very hard to beat, and they play direct, they get it up onto the last line, so you've got to defend a lot. So yeah, but overall, really good goals and a better second half for us.
See, really good goals. I mean, the finish by Kyogo, I mean, that was just top draw, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, he is an elite striker, to be fair. His movement, everything about him, but he's so alert, and now he's really clever, plays that offside position well, and obviously if you make a mistake, he can punish you.
I mean, it perhaps wasn't vintage Celtic today, but to be coming away from a place like that, you know, against a team that would be seen as one of your kind of main rivals with a 3-1 scoreline, it's not bad.
Well, it's a very good result. I've been up here a lot of times, and I can only remember one game that was comfortable. Apart from that, a lot of the other games are in the balance, and obviously the crowd get behind the team. Like I said, you don't have a lot of time to press the game. The ball goes forward early, send on your back line, they get around the second ball, so you're constantly having to play fighting football. But the players showed that they can do that, and I think to win this type of game is good for the mentality, because you can't play perfect football every single week.
There's a real period at the start of the second half, maybe 20-25 minute period, where you were very much in control of the game, and it seemed to coincide with the introduction of Rio Hatate. I mean, he came on like a man with a point to prove, and albeit he had to go off with the injury, really showed what he can do as well.
Well, he is a top class player. I think that we needed Rio in terms of winning second balls. I think in the first half they got through a midfield too easy. We weren't getting onto the second ball. But I know how competitive he is, and he came in and he brings that also calmness as well. So it's a shame. We'll see how his calf is, but yeah, it was great for him to get on the pitch.
The other injury issue, I would imagine, that would be concerning a lot of the fans would be Cameron going off at the break, especially given what he's gone through over the last few months. How is he, and how concerned are you by the injury that took him off?
Yeah, well, we just have to assess that in the next few days. He just felt a tightness in his hamstring, so we didn't want to risk it anymore. So we take him off, and I thought Steve Moyles came in and was excellent. Second half played a really good composure. He was excellent, and we'll just see how Cam is.
2 wins out of 2 in the league. Can't ask for much more than that, really, can you?
Yeah, especially being in Aberdeen. It was like the Mediterranean up here today. It was absolutely roasting, and like I say, pitch was long, but we got the job done. It's nice for the players to make the supporters smile, and if they're smiling on a long journey back, then that's important. And over the course of the season, we'll get better.
So very happy Brendan Rodgers in the wake of that. Incidentally, just been sent a clip of the Shankland penalty claim at the end of the first half. I think the guys called it absolutely correct. Nothing in that at all. So that was Brendan Rodgers. Barry Robson also gave his lowdown on the game to Tyrone Smith.
What a terrific game of football. I think you've seen how brave we were. We really went after them. We tried to press them really high, and I think we made it into a bit of a basketball game at times, which I know always excites the fans. But it's hard to. You don't actually want to sit in against Celtic to eventually break you down. So when you really go after them, it's difficult because they can find the spaces against you as well. So it's a difficult one to get right. But I didn't feel that was a 3-1 result for us today. I really didn't. I thought we were hard done by in that result.
You obviously get the equaliser, and I guess when you do that and you have the ascendancy, you just want things just to settle down for a little period. And obviously there was the mistake which led to Celtic's second goal. I guess the big frustration from your point of view was probably all three Celtic goals, particularly the first two, were all preventable.
Yeah, the mistakes, set play, a mistake for Nicky Devlin, who I thought was outstanding again today. And these happen, but I said to them at that level, you need to get the mistake, you need to cut these out. I thought Celtic they really found it hard today, I think, Celtic, and I think in the second half, I think we dominated the game. I thought we had really good chances that we should really score a couple of more goals. And by the way, they've got a terrific team, terrific manager and staff, but I thought Aberdeen were outstanding today. I thought we really took the game to them in that aggressive and fast way.
I mean, there were a lot of standout performances today. Shaden Morris showed up really well, Dante Polvara. I could name others as well. I mean, those are the real positive takeaways, aren't they? And the fact that you gave Celtic probably more trouble in this game than maybe an Aberdeen team has in a number of recent fixtures.
Yeah, I think I've heard that already. It's as well as they've seen Aberdeen play here against Celtic for a long time. I would agree with that. We went for it. We went for them. We tried to score goals. And obviously we lost a few goals, and as I said, it came a bit basketball. We are transitioning them, then they transition us, and I know the fans get excited, and we're a fit team, we're a fast team, we're an aggressive team, and it can suit us at times, but you've got to remember they've got real speed and quality as well, and they show that, which is difficult for us to contend with.
Just wondering, but how would you assess the start to the league season that Aberdeen have made?
I assess it good. I think that was an unbelievably good performance. I think down at Livingston, we got no injuries on that pitch. We had the two best chances of the game. We could have came away. They were 5 games in. It was our first game. 4,500 fans down there. I think it's been really good. Pre-season's been really strong. I think with the signings we've seen, majority are now our signings. We're not sitting with 8 loans in the team. And hopefully we're away to add more signings that are going to be our players and building a squad that Aberdeen want to be proud of.
Just a final one on new faces, because you've spoken about how you're still looking to bring some bodies in the building. How many more do you feel you need to have a squad that's equipped for the domestic and continental challenges that you're going to be dealing with over the next few weeks?
Well, it's hard to put a number on, but I know that we've definitely got Jimmy McGarry coming in. He arrives tonight, and we'll be, I would imagine, at least 3 or 4 on top of that.
Larry, thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers.
There you go, James McGarry, the New Zealand international, due into Aberdeen Airport this evening. 3 or 4 more signings. When Willie Miller and Pat Bonner were with us earlier, and I asked Willie how he felt Barry would assess the game, he did say Barry would be bullish. I'm not sure bullish even comes close to how Barry was there. Talked about his team being outstanding and unbelievably good. Thought they were hard done by to lose by such a margin. He said it wasn't a 3-1 game. I mean, certainly the first half was, it could easily have been 5-4 for Celtic in the first half, given the chances both sides had, but although Celtic still weren't at their absolute best, they created far more chances in the second half than Aberdeen, who, I think I'm right in saying, didn't have a shot on target in the second half. But he's taken a lot of positives there, and more new signings due, which they're clearly going to need given the demands they will be facing in the coming weeks and months. So we've heard from both managers there, Brendan Rodgers, Barry Robson, the 3-1 win for Celtic. Remember, goals at half-time at Fir Park. We'll keep you right across that one with Brian. It's Motherwell 0, Hibernian 0. And it's the same scoreline at Tynecastle. Hearts against Kilmarnock. Live second half commentary with Alan Preston, Gary Holt and Al Lamont.
Thanks again, Richard. Yeah, the team's back out on the park, and doesn't appear that there are going to be changes for either side at the interval. So we start this one goalless. As Richard mentioned there, you got a chance to have a look back at the Lawrence Shankland claim for a penalty just in the stroke of half-time, as did myself and Gary. I have to say, Gary, that although Richard said there was nothing in it, it strikes me as one that if you are the attacking team, you're definitely claiming for it.
It's one of those, Alistair, if it's given, you're probably saying it's soft, but you're actually questioning your defender why he got his arms round him after the game, and looking back at the videos. But then again, you're also saying it is a wee bit soft. So I think Kilmarnock are lucky to get away with it, and lucky VAR never had a look at it. But I do say it would have been soft.
What do you do with that, Alistair? He blows for half-time, but there's still a decision to be made, and the players are running off.
Yeah, they would bring them back on. Here's Matty Kennedy from the edge of the box, goes for goal, taken comfortably by Xander Clark in the first attempt on goal of the first period. Comes from the visitors. It's still 0-0, but yeah, Alan, just to answer your question, I've not seen it in the flesh, but I'm sure that there was an incident where the full-time whistle was blown at one stage in a game somewhere, and the players had to be brought back onto the park, and the game was restarted for whatever incident it was. So that would have happened had the VAR, and they would have looked at it, to be fair, just to get the kind of language around it.
Not an incident last season at St Mirren, where there was something in the last minute it wasn't checked.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
One of the two.
Anyhow, Greg Aitken, who is the VAR today, would have checked that, and would have, as I mentioned at the time, didn't look to me that even if it was a penalty, it would be one that was clear and obvious mistake, and as it is, wasn't given. We've got no goals here right at the start of the second half.
See that thing also about clear and obvious area? I think if the referee actually gave a penalty, I don't think he would have overturned it.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about it, that it could have gone either way. But here come Hearts down the left-hand side, looking to try and make the breakthrough. It's Alec Lowry about 15 yards from the touchline. He's earned himself a free kick, just barged in the back there by Danny Armstrong as he came back to try and do some of the defensive duties that you were saying in the first half, Gary, probably doesn't really want to be doing, and that was a little bit rash from him, I felt.
Yeah, and that's the areas that opposition teams should try and get him in, and he does that quite a bit. Danny gives away silly free kicks. I think he gets sent off last year against Rangers at home by being over enthusiastic, shall we say, and getting involved. It's an area you don't want involved in, and it's shown there, a stupid foul.
Which Alex Lowry will take the free kick from. Left-hand side, just a few yards away from the goal line. It's a dangerous looking one. Will Dennis at the second attempt grabs hold of that and alleviates the danger on his goal. 2.5 minutes of the second half played, and it's still goalless. And the guys will keep an eye on any potential tactical tweaks from either manager at the break as Hearts feed the ball forward. Tagawa hasn't been able to get into the game. Stuart Finlay possibly handled that as it was played forward. The assistant referee was right next to it, and certainly the Hearts fans round about us again.
Kicks it off his own hand, Alice. It's not a foul. Doesn't mean that.
The ball's played forward by Kingsley, but that's an aimless one behind for a goal kick to Kilmarnock, and the Hearts fans just looking for a little bit more from their side in an attacking sense. As I say, Tagawa was unable to get into the game in that first period, and I wonder how long it will be before we see Kenneth Vargas, who I was chatting to Joe Savage out in Trondheim about him. He's described him as more of a left-sided inside forward, but the Costa Rican international coming in and adds another option for Hearts, and we might see him off the bench as the ball's knocked forward, and it falls for Matty Kennedy down the left-hand side for Kelly, up against Atkinson. Atkinson just gets a toe in, and then Oda plays it back to Devlin. Haring fouled by Watson in the middle of the park, says referee David Dickinson. Didn't look to be all that much in that, but Hearts do get the free kick 4 minutes into the second period. Hearts 0, Kilmarnock 0. Here's Frankie Kent, one of Hearts' summer signings, brought in from Peterborough. Looks a pretty decent acquisition. Craig Halkett, of course, still to come back. Don't think he's too far away from a return to the first team either, after a terrible season with injuries last time out. But another player like Boyce and Beningame and Craig Gordon, when he returns, he'll be like a cliched new signing for Hearts when he does re-emerge. Here is Kent at the edge of his penalty area. Looks forward and then fires it out to the right-hand side looking for Oda, but it's a misplaced pass from Oda, and Hearts maybe just need to simplify the game a little bit. A couple of rather adventurous passes, over-adventurous almost.
I think he's looking for Shanklin and Kagawa to chauffeur the ball. Both of them are running away from it.
Hearts have the throw-in on the right-hand side, quickly taken by Oda. Neat touch back to Devlin from Shanklin, and then back to the halfway line for Kent for Rowles, and now back with Kent on the halfway line and allowed to step forward, plays it into Shanklin. Shanklin holding off young David Watson in the middle of the park. Kent once more to Devlin. Right-hand side is Oda. Atkinson now comes in off the right-hand side, looks forward and plays the pass square to Haring, who swiftly knocks it out to Lowry on the left flank, up against Lyons and also Armstrong. Tries to play it between the two of them, comes off Lyons and out for a throw-in on the far side to Hearts, about 15 yards away from the corner flag on the Hearts left. Kingsley will take this throw-in. Played 6 minutes of the second period, no goals at Fir Park between Motherwell and Hibs. As the ball's back with Royals, and now his fellow Australian Devlin. Devlin looks to clip that over the top, looking for the run of Atkinson. Atkinson beaten to it just by Will Dennis, who made a brave decision to come off his line, but he did well to just get enough on that to knock the danger away. And Kilmarnock survived. Nat Atkinson scored a marvellous goal at Rugby Park in the final minute last season. A really spectacular effort it was, as Hearts come forward once more. Oda's pass for Shanklin, though, is cut out by the excellent Dees. Now it's Ndaba on the left-hand side, plays it forward for Kennedy, who goes down pretty easily, but he is given the free kick by David Dickinson. And it will be Kelly's free kick, just a few yards inside the Hearts half. Hearts 0, Kilmarnock 0.
I think Hearts and mouth there when they see the keeper come flying out, but he's made the decision. He has got on the end of it, but it's one of those as a coach manager thinking you want your keeper to come in to help, but sometimes in the wrong areas, and I think that was one that he'll look back and think, but he got there, he got on the end of it, and he did his job very well.
So Kelly free kick, just about 10 yards inside the Hearts half, 10 yards in off the left flank as well, as Armstrong sends it in, back post delivery. And it's headed out of play by Rowles over on the far side for a Kilmarnock throw-in. And cross trots young Watson for another long throw-in, as Alan mentioned in the first half. It was this kind of area he launched one for the only goal of the game last weekend, as John Suter, the former Hearts centre-back, struggled to clear his lines, and in step Brad Lyons to sweep in the winning goal against Rangers. In this one comes Finlay trying to help it on, but Hearts deal with it, and Lowry clears his lines up towards the halfway line. Mayo gets his head to it. Armstrong tried to let the ball run across him, but Oda's nicked it from him, then can't quite find the pass, and in slides Dees to make sure that Hearts couldn't keep possession. 8 minutes into the second half, still no sign of a goal.
You just wonder if you're Derek McInnes, you're happy the way things are going. If you're Frank McAvoy, you look at your bench, I think, did you bring Boyce on? Is he something different for you?
Kennedy goes down just at the edge of the box, but there was nothing in that, and nothing given as a result. And Hearts able to clear as Shanklin gives chase, but Dees will get there before him and just knocks it back to his goalkeeper Will Dennis, who's yet to concede in the Premiership. Hearts play the ball forward quickly, but Tagawa's never getting on the end of that, and again Dennis is first to it. Bowls it out underarm for Finlay, who won a Scotland call-up with his performances at Kilmarnock last time he was here, and looking to impress again on loan from Oxford United. A miscue there from Frankie Kent as he tries to deal with a through ball, and it's out of play for a Kilmarnock throw in the left-hand side. And Hearts, who were vastly improved in the second half against Rosenborg, haven't really lifted their performance so far in this game since half-time, as Kennedy comes down the left-hand side and he's taken out by Atkinson. It will be a clear booking as Atkinson with a despairing challenge there as Kennedy went past him down the left-hand side.
It's great play by Kennedy again, just committing his man, but you're also looking at Hearts and thinking the bench needs to have an impact like it did in the last couple of games for them, because they do look leggy. I know I'm touching on it again, but they do look as if not enough competitive games is catching up with them, and they need to change it, because it's a wee bit pedestrian, I think, Alan, for me. There's no pace about them, and they look a wee bit disjointed up the front with Shankland and
Tagawa.
Who runs, who drops, and they're not really having any end product up there.
And they've got defending to do here to keep the scoreline blank as Kennedy and Armstrong stand over the free kick. Left-hand side, a few yards outside the penalty area. It's Haring who gets his head to it. Comes to Watson on the right-hand side, just sends it back in. Dees is up there, going to attack it. He leaves it for Armstrong, who miscues the header and plays it wide of goal when he really should have at least tested Xander Clark. Maybe it was just thought Robbie Dees was going to take the header on, but clearly Armstrong shouted, got the header in, but it doesn't test the keeper, and it remains Hearts 0, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, Hearts have got to change the flow of the game. Kilmarnock have been the better side. Again, at the start of the second half, another effort there. I think you would get Tagawa off and bring Boyce on.
It looks like Boyce is just taking his subs jacket off there, Alan, to be honest, so change is imminent.
Yeah, it's Kilmarnock who look the marginally better side just at the moment. Not a great deal between the sides, certainly, but they've had the better opportunities, and that last one from Danny Armstrong was should at least have got on target, Gary.
The wrong guy at Filton.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're trying to say, Alistair. But he should be heading it across goal to make the goalie work.
Yeah, I just wonder if Robbie Dees obviously did get the shout. Maybe he couldn't have reached it anyway, that's the thing, but you would definitely want him on the end of that type of effort rather than Danny Armstrong, but nonetheless Armstrong should have been working the keeper. We've played 11 and a half minutes of the second period, and as the guys are saying, Liam Boyce is about to enter the fray for Hearts. I wouldn't be too surprised if it was Kyosuke Tagawa who made way. Hasn't really been able to impact the game as Watson hurls in another long throw. Finlay gets on the end of it. Up in the air it goes, off the head now of Kennedy, and now Ndaba inside the penalty area. Left-hand side just forced out of the box. Just plays a little clip ball into the feet of Kennedy, who's tracked by Oda. Does enough to make it difficult for him. Still gets the ball into the box again, but it's swept away by Shankland, and Mayo just touched that back to Will Dennis in the Kilmarnock penalty box, and the keeper then launches it long again over the halfway line. Watkins and Kent tussling. It goes over the two of them, and Rowles nods it back to Xander Clark as Boyce awaits the ball going dead, and then he'll be brought on to add his goal scoring threat and technical nous to the game. Another man who's had a bad time with injury of late, but back to full fitness, and Hearts will hope he can make a positive impact coming off the bench as the ball goes back to Xander Clark from Kent inside his 6-yard box. 13 minutes gone in this second period. Still no goals at Fir Park either between Motherwell and Hibs. Will get an update from Brian McLaughlin, a reporter there at some juncture. Here's Stephen Kingsley, the left back on the halfway line for Hearts, plays it back infield to Rowles. Remember, Hearts back in action here against Rosenborg in the second leg of their Europa Conference League third round qualifier, looking to overturn a 2-1 advantage. Now, I have to say they'll have to be better than this to do so. Here's Oda, right hand side for Hearts, looking to inject a bit of pace, but Atkinson's attempt at the 1-2 was pretty woeful, it has to be said, behind for a goal kick. And it's Lowry who's coming off, actually. I mean, he's been relatively quiet, Alan, but you're surprised it's him who departs?
Yeah, I am. You know what? He's been all right. He's been okay. He's better than he's shown. He was very good last week when he came on. Today, not so good. But he's been all right. He's a top talented young player. So what they're going to do is Boyce will go and play up now, Tagawa will go and play on the left-hand side, and they'll virtually play 3 up front now, Hearts.
Yeah, Shankland's going pretty high as well, isn't he? And so a little reshuffle there from the Hearts management team as Will Dennis prepares to take the goal kick. Kilmarnock going from right to left as we look at it from the back of the Wheatfield stand, which is the one opposite the main stand here at Gorgie. Excellent commentary position, you have to say. Really good vantage point. You see how the game plays out down beneath us as Ndaba takes a chance, gets away with it, and then Devlin flies in. It's played off Devlin, and it will be a Kilmarnock throw-in. I mean, the Hearts fans not happy, but it's
so plain, and it's right
obvious.
in front of us. It comes right off Devlin, right out.
An hour gone, still no goals. But Kilmarnock probably, you would have to say, just edging it slightly. And here's Boyce though. First chance he's had to do anything since he's coming on. Found Shanklin at the edge of the box, just tries to clip it through there for Tagawa coming in off the left, but couldn't quite link up. As Stephen Kingsley was trying to pick himself up off the ground there and then clashed with Armstrong, and he's hurt himself again. And David Dickinson, the referee, just checking he's okay. Let's cross Toofer Park then on the hour mark here at Tynecastle. Everything's going between Motherwell and Hibs. Brian McLaughlin.
Yeah, an hour gone, still 0-0 here. Motherwell have a corner, but it's easily collected by David Marshall. Motherwell have had a couple of really good opportunities, so O'Donnell with the ball into the box. Connor Wilkinson was there. He looked as if he had a clear shot at goal, decided to take an extra touch though, and that allowed the Hibs defence to come back and clear the ball. Spiddle also sent through 1-1 with the goalkeeper, took it early but shot wide off the target. Hibs made a couple of changes. Levitt and Vente replaced at half-time. Martin Boyle and Adam Lefondre have come on, and Motherwell have also made a change. Theo Bears made way with Mika Bereth, the 20-year-old Dane on loan from Arsenal, on. I can tell you he's a big imposing figure, and the Hibs defenders are in for a handful for the last half hour. However, Kerr Park here with an hour played. Motherwell 0, Hibs 0.
Thanks, Brian. We'll be back with you if anything eventful happens before full time. Nothing eventful happened here since you last heard from us, as Stephen Kingsley is back on his feet. Doesn't look entirely comfortable. He's just had a bit of treatment and just trying to walk off the knock he took there. It will be a Hearts throw-in over on the far side, just at the mouth of the tunnel, for those who know the layout here at Tynecastle Park. And it will be taken by Peter Haring in the absence for the moment of the left back Stephen Kingsley. Down the left it goes. Devlin heads forward. It's Boyce trying to make a nuisance of himself. Kennedy there though to win it for Kilmarnock. Then McGuinness wins the 50-50 with Haring, but it breaks for Rowles, and Rowles plays it to Boyce. Boyce just tries to nudge it through to Tagawa, but Kilmarnock step in, and it's won by Mayo for McGuinness. Former Hibby, of course, didn't really happen for him at Easter Road. Again, another player who's had a hellish time with injuries in recent times, as Ndaba and Boyce come together. Sore one there for Ndaba, but it was a fair challenge, and Shanklin picks up on the halfway line and plays it to Atkinson. Again coming in off the right hand side, the Australian. Central area now, plays it back for Rowles. Let go by Tagawa. Boyce links up with him. Tagawa can't keep it though, and Kennedy will chase that onto the halfway line, left hand side. Back comes Devlin. Kennedy, little step over, in off the left he comes. Still Kennedy going, about 30 yards from goal. Plays it for Armstrong, right hand side into Kennedy once more. Just tries to lift it back into the path of Armstrong. It was an ambitious one, and Kingsley able to clear up to Shanklin. Shanklin grappling away there with Mayo still battling. Haring comes in, Shanklin picks up possession, then tries the big switch to Oda. He can't take a good first touch. Is really poor from the Japanese. A great ball from Shanklin, and Oda really needed to take that in his stride, Alan Preston, but took his eye off it, I think, and it comes out for a throw into Kilmarnock. Still 0-0.
Yeah, it's a great ball from Shanklin, 40-50 yards from his left foot right to Oda's foot, and he just miscontrols it, and I think that just sums Hearts' display up today. You know, not a miss pass in that chance, but certainly miscontrol. It's just not been there. And you're right, Alice, if they're going to play like this on Thursday, they'll go out. They need to get the intensity up. They need to, because as it sits, you know, Kilmarnock, it's quite comfortable for them. They're in their shape. They're holding their shape. They're hitting Hearts on the break. They've got problems in the wider area for Hearts. You know, I think Kilmarnock will be very happy. And the way the game's going, you would think that Derek McInnes might be raging if he don't win this game.
Haring fouling Lions there on this left-hand side. Kilmarnock players looking for another yellow card there for Haring.
No, I think it was Atkinson threw the ball away.
Right.
And under the new rules, they're just meant to leave it and walk away.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So he's a lucky boy, because the referee was actually looking this way when he actually threw it away off the part. So
yeah, and Atkinson's been booked. That's probably the issue there. But no further action taken against Nat Atkinson, but it will be a free kick to Kilmarnock. Midway inside the Hearts half, left-hand side. Armstrong sends it into the penalty area, headed on by Lyons towards the back post, but no Kelly players there, and Kingsley get time. Oh, it's a poor clearance, only as far as Dees, but Finlay can't get it back to him. Dees does really well there. Comes back to Finlay. Oh, so close to an absolute barnstorming finish from Stuart Finlay. He can't believe that hasn't found the target. I thought that was top corner bound, but just past Zander Clark's left-hand post, and it remains Hearts 0, Kilmarnock 0.
I'm actually thinking if Stuart Finlay doesn't shoot, Shanklin's in trouble there, because that looked a booking to me, Alan. I think he could have been off.
Completely. He wipes out Robbie Dees at the edge of the box. The referee plays advantage and saves Shanklin, you're right. You know, and then what a hit that was for Finlay. I honestly thought it was whistling in. I thought it was flying in that top corner. That must be so close.
He's got a habit of scoring here as well.
Hearts have a free kick, and there's some ironic, I think, cheers from the Hearts fans who probably feel that David Dickinson has been rather harsh on them. There's been a goal at Fir Park. Let's cross quickly to Brian before this free kick's taken.
It's a goal for Motherwell coming after 63 minutes. Blair Spittle with the finish, but it was made by the man I'd just spoken about, Mika Bereth. He bullied Lewis Stevenson down the right-hand side, cut the ball back into the path of Blair Spittle, who knocked the ball into the back of the empty net. 65 minutes is now played here at Fir Park. It's Motherwell 0, Motherwell 1, Hibernian 0.
Thanks, Brian. There's a yellow card being shown here to Danny Armstrong for not retreating far enough at the free kick, which is about to be taken by Stephen Kingsley. His Hearts get an opportunity here to try and threaten the Kilmarnock goal. It's going to be Stephen Kingsley pretty much midway inside the Kelly half left of centre, as Hearts look to trouble Will Dennis for more or less the first time in the game. It is Kingsley to sweep it, and it's glanced onto the back post and comes to Kent, but he can't do anything with it, and it's a comfortable take for Will Dennis.
I think this is a new signing. Vargas is about to come on.
Yeah, Vargas and young Aidan Denham, who came on in Trondheim as well for I think what was just his second Hearts appearance. He's about to make his third from the bench as well, as Hearts look for something different.
This has to be Kagawa this time, and then I would take Devlin off because of his booking.
There's a few Hearts players just treading a little bit of a fine line. They're not going to take Shankland off, are they? Here come the changes then. Tagawa's one of them, who's going to be replaced by the aforementioned Kenneth Vargas, new signing, Costa Rican forward. And it is Devlin, Alan's called it, spot on, who will be replaced by young Aidan Denham, 19 years old, central midfielder.
I just think tiredness, you know, Devlin he plays on the edge, he's already been booked. It's a good decision by the management team to get him off, because he's tired. You just never know, he'll overrun the ball or he'll go into something. And Hearts are down to 10 men. Shanklin has to watch as well. Atkinson the same, has to watch, as does Armstrong now.
It's a free kick to Kilmarnock, taken short. Kennedy flips it into the area. Finlay wins the header, but out comes Zander Clark to take that one pretty comfortably. Still 0-0 here then, 68 minutes gone in the game, and it's looking more and more like one goal might decide it, if it's to be decided at all. Zander Clark preparing to kick long. Boyce takes it down, a nice first touch, lays it back to Haring, just 10 yards inside Kilmarnock's half, up to Shankland. Vargas now with his first touch in a Hearts shirt, back to his left back Stephen Kingsley. The attempted cross came off Vargas, and it will be a Kilmarnock throw-in over on the far side. The Kelly right, they've yet to go to the bench. Kyle Vassell, their new captain's an obvious option there if they're looking for a change up front at least. Here's Boyce picking up, but 35 yards from goal, just tries to play it into the path of Shankland, but Finlay had a close eye on that one and just knocks it clear from the edge of his own penalty area. Picked up by Kent. He'll go back to his goalkeeper. Zander Clark now closed down by Kennedy.
Oh, no.
That's a poor pass. Armstrong will pick up the loose ball, right hand side for Hearts. Back comes Vargas, and then down goes Armstrong. The assistant gives the free kick in, or at least indicates that it should be a free kick to Kilmarnock. Right down at the corner flag as Haring and Vargas went in on Armstrong, and Kelly will have the chance just a few yards away from the corner flag on their right hand side to create some more danger here. Still 0-0 though, almost 70 played.
I think Haring's in a bit of trouble as well. You know, this will be a free kick to Kilmarnock, so when the ball comes in, Haring's going to be off, and he's one of their main guys in the air. Kilmarnock have caused a bit of problems with their set plays. They're a big side when you look at Mayo and Dees. Finley's gone up there as well. They're a big side.
Yeah, it's a bit of bother here for Peter Haring, who gets treatment over on the far side of the stadium. It was Connor Wilkinson, incidentally, who got that goal for Motherwell against Hibernian. And Kyle Vassell looks like he's ready to come on here.
I don't think Derek will be wanting to make too many changes, Alistair. Probably Vassell, like you touched on, would be the change, because you don't want to upset the flow of the game. Kilmarnock are kind of bossing it to an extent. They're not under any pressure. You make changes, you give the impetus to Hearts, take the energy away from Kilmarnock. So I would think it would only be Vassell at the minute, and see how the rest of the next 10 minutes pans out, and then the last 10 minutes see where, if they need to change some tired legs. But I can't see him making wholesale changes to upset the rhythm.
So Kelly have a free kick with Peter Haring on the touchline now after treatment, but it will be Kennedy, cuts it back. McGuinness doesn't get a hold of the shot, and it's easy for Denham to clear. Watson returns it into the penalty area. It comes. There's Mayo cross goal, and it's just ahead of Watkins. He couldn't slide in to make contact and knock it home. His Hearts lived dangerously.
It's a really poor ball across to McGuinness. If it's slipped on the grass, there's no reason to fire it in bouncing. He comes on, he's in acres of space, but they managed to work it, and it was a good ball across. I think it was a shot rather than a cross, but we'll give him it.
Yeah, either way, it didn't end up in the back of the net. But here's Watson with another long throw in from the right hand side. Dees can't make it. Fired in by Kennedy, and it comes off the face of Lyons, as it looked like it might have been destined for the back of the net, but for his teammate's intervention. He knew nothing about that, Brad Lyons. Matty Kennedy really got a hold of the shot, but Lyons was the unlucky Kelly player, just 12 yards out, blocking the effort and saving Zander Clark the effort himself of keeping it out, as Watkins picks up, and it's Kelly definitely on top at this juncture in the game. It's Ndaba, left hand side, swings it in, back post. Kingsley nods it down to Zander Clark. Cool defending from the left fullback, and Clark bowls it out for Boyce. Boyce can't get onto it. Mayo steps in, away from Boyce. Little step over, away from Vargas as well. Might have had the advantage there, but David Dickinson blows for the free kick Kelly's way.
I don't get Clark what he's doing. Hearts are under the cosh here a bit. They're tired legs after the trip. He collects the ball and he throws it quickly. Just calm the game down, take the sting out of it. Kilmarnock have got the impetus just now. They're the team on the front foot.
Vassell is about to come on. It's 73 minutes in, and it's Marley Watkins who's applauding the several hundred Kelly fans away to our left, who have got to be enjoying what they're seeing. But what they would really enjoy would be a goal to reward their efforts so far, as Watkins trots off, and on comes the new Kelly captain, Kyle Vassell, for his third appearance of the season, as Armstrong stands over the free kick. It's about 15 yards or so inside the Hearts half, right of centre. Armstrong sends it in. Finlay stretching across goal. It comes. It's knocked away by Rowles, and then Haring plays it off Dees. It will be a Hearts goal kick, but if the goal is coming, it looks very much like it will come for the visitors. Still 0-0 though.
Well, and if you're a Kilmarnock fan, if they can play like this, like they did last week and again today, you're in for a treat this season. They look a really good side. You're well organised, you can see that. They're disciplined at the back. In the middle of the park, they've got legs in there as well. And up front, you know, with Armstrong and Kennedy, they just need someone to put the ball in the back of the net, and Vassell coming on might give them that.
Boyce though gets the flick on to Clark's clearance, but no Hearts player can latch onto that, and it's tamely behind for a goal kick to Kilmarnock. And Will Dennis, like last week, I have to say, at Rugby Park against Rangers, has had precious little to do.
A very little bit, and what he has done, he's done well. Like I said, he came out for that one early in the second half, and probably thinking don't come for it, but he's made the decision and he's took it on himself. But he's kicked well, he's commanded his area, so he's been unflustered, to be honest. And for a new goalkeeper joining a club, you thought he'd be put under more pressure, but he seems to be handling it.
Sliding in there went Brad Lyons, up to Vassell it goes, he can't hold on to it, but he's got a free kick, and the Hearts fans aren't happy, and I must say this occasion I agree with him. I didn't think there was an awful lot in that, Alan.
No, I would agree with you. I don't think it was a foul, but again, Atkinson kicks the ball away. He's going to have to stop it. Kennedy's right over in the referee's face here.
So it is a free kick to Kilmarnock, left of centre, about 35 yards from goal. And Danny Armstrong has scored from this kind of range. It would take a spectacular effort. Looks more likely to be a ball into the box, but and probably more likely to be from Matty Kennedy with the right foot. But we shall see both players, Armstrong and Kennedy, over it. Doesn't look like Kennedy's going to take the shot on. Indeed he does, but it's off target. Not too far off target, but no trouble on that occasion for Xander Clark. And with 15 minutes left to play, it's still Hearts 0, Kilmarnock 0.
I think Hearts again will be looking to go to the bench and try and change the flow of the game. It's been all Kilmarnock in that last 10 minutes. They need to do something.
Who would you bring on, Alan? Looking at that was Alan Forrest.
Forrest for a bit of pace. I think they need pace up front. And then do you take Oda off, who's not really been in the game in the second half, and ask Forrest to go and try and, if he can, run it in Daba?
You need someone who's going at a ball carrier. Everything's in front of them and very in the air. There's no one getting it and run, whereas Kennedy and Armstrong will get it at the feet and they'll carry it up the park, and that's what Alan Forrest does. That's his game.
You maybe think Atkinson as well, with the amount of times he's kicked the ball away. Do you take him off? He's been booked.
Haring has it, middle of the park, back to Kent and out to Atkinson. Comes in off the right hand side and finds Boyce midway inside the Killie half, just left of centre up towards the edge of the box. He comes away from Watson. Left hand side is Kingsley, flashes it into the 6-yard box, away by Dees as far as Denham. Denham heads it down to his central midfield partner Haring. Haring helps out to the left. Can Kingsley keep that one in? Yes, he can. Up to the byline he comes. Sliding challenge comes in from McGuinness to knock it behind, from Armstrong, I beg your pardon. Knock it behind for a Hearts corner, and at last in this second period Hearts fans have something to get behind as they have the corner on the left. 13 minutes left here at Tynecastle. It is Hearts 0, Killie 0, as it does look there's going to be more activity from the Hearts technical area, and looks like the change is going to be made ahead of this corner being taken, and it is Oda who's going to be replaced by Forrest. So there's another one Alan Preston's got right, and the other change is going to be Toby Civic, I think, coming on for Nat Atkinson. Well, he didn't say that Civic would necessarily come on, but he did say Atkinson would come off. So he got, he's got a hotline to that Hearts technical area.
It's just a clean sweep. Now, when you're sitting watching it, you've got to say that Hearts players are getting more and more tired. Atkinson again, he's kicked the ball away, been booked, looking tired. Get him off so they can't go down to 10 men. But I think you're right, Alistair. I think one goal could win this match today.
Kingsley from the left-hand side in, swings it into the penalty area, takes a glance off a Killie head in there and away out to this near side for a Hearts throw-in midway inside the Killie half. And Kilmarnock would absolutely be furious if they were to lose this game, you'd have to say, on the balance of play. Even a point, Derek McInnes might feel would be harsh on them, but certainly not to take anything. But they haven't been able to capitalise on the upper hand that they have had, and so they still have to do a bit of defending here as Boyce picks up. Little disguised pass comes through. Forrest well blocked there by Finlay. Brilliant block really from the central defender. Killie eventually clear the lines completely, knocked out of play. For the Hearts fans, you can hear they believe there's still a victory in this game for them to follow up on the opening day victory at McDermott Park. That one came late, in all honesty. 2 goals came, well, one in the injury time from Shanklin, but Oda's goal came around about now. Here is Forrest on the right-hand side, one of the Hearts subs back in field for Kent, and now it's Rowles. Helps it on to Haring, about 10 yards inside the Killie half, left of centre, coming forward, slides it forward to Vargas, back to Haring, and out to the left-hand side for Kingsley. Forrest has come all the way across to the left-hand side, he plays it back to Kingsley, crossing opportunity, only Shanklin in there, it's over his head. Up comes Civic from the back to the right-hand side to retrieve the ball, puts it back into the middle. There's Dees to meet it at the front post, knocks it away, Watson helps it on, but it's picked up by Rowles. Just kept in by Kingsley. Apologies if there was any bad language picked up by our microphones there. I didn't catch it myself, but I gather maybe some did cross the airwaves, so apologies for any offence caused as we approach the final 10 minutes here at Tynecastle. Still goalless between Hearts and Kilmarnock. 1-0 Motherwell lead against Hibs across at Fir Park with about the same 10 minutes remaining, you'd imagine, as Hearts get the free kick, much to Derek McInnes's consternation, just outside his technical area. Over on the left-hand side as Hearts attack, as they look to snatch the 3 points. And at this stage of the season, particularly, as much as the performance hasn't been terrific, the points are very much all that matters, especially ahead of a big European night back here at Tynecastle on Thursday. Kingsley's free kick, into the box it comes, headed on, and behind eventually for a Hearts corner on this near side.
The subs have certainly made a difference to Hearts. They've got the front foot of the game. Kilmarnock are suddenly sitting deeper and deeper, can't seem to get up the park, and there's a wee bit of pressure building this last 10 minutes, and hopefully Kilmarnock can hang on, but they need to get back to what they were good at, getting up the park. They just seem to be content sitting in, and Hearts will just keep coming then. Here's
Kingsley then, right hand side with the left foot, about to swing this one into the penalty area. To the 6-yard box it comes, and Daba didn't deal with it, but it was Kyle McGuinness back there to get it clear inside his 6-yard box, I think, as Vargas wins the ball back from Armstrong on the Hearts left, plays it back in towards the edge of the box. Kingsley with the header, away by Mayo. Mayo urges his teammates to get out as much as they can as Hearts pick up once more through Denham on the halfway line, and now back with Rowles. Out to the right hand side it comes to Forrest. Just over 8 minutes of the 90 left as Boyce picks up possession, right hand side, better from Hearts, into the box it comes. Shanklin doesn't really connect with the effort, and it drifts well wide. Wasn't quite sure what to do with that, I don't think, and in the end it drifted wide of Will Dennis's right hand post, and it remains Hearts 0, Kilmarnock 0.
I think you've seen it late there. I think someone in front of him just took his eye off it.
Frankie Kent running in. There's a good ball in by Boyce, who Kent just couldn't get there, and then it's sort of behind Shanklin.
Yeah, he couldn't make the connection he wanted, and that was why Will Dennis remained untested, and he takes the goal kick way over the halfway line. He launches it, flicked on by Watson. Kennedy gives chase, but Rowles pokes it clear. Mayo having to backtrack with Vargas breathing down his neck, and that's come back off both the Costa Rican and then the Killie defender, and Mayo forced into the foul on Vargas. It's a cheap free kick to give away, and Hearts have it in a good position right over in the left flank as they come forward about 16 yards from the corner flag, and this is a good opportunity for Hearts to put it into the mixer.
Yeah, Mayo had 5 or 6 yards there on Vargas, you know, and he slows down, allowing Vargas to close him down. He gets a break of the ball, then he just pushes him. Needless free kick.
There has been a better period just in the last 10 minutes or so from the home side, who are looking to get what might well be the clinching goal, as Kingsley prepares to take the free kick just a yard or two in from the left touchline. Into the penalty area it comes. Again, it's well defended. This time it was Kyle Vassell with the captain's armband on, heading it clear from his own penalty area. Denham recycles it back to Kingsley on the left-hand side, fires it back in, back post. Kent gets his head to it, can't direct it back across goal, and he has to retrieve it himself once more. Back to Civic, just outside the box on the right-hand side. Haring just dinks it into the feet of Shanklin with his back to goal. Back out to Kent, helps it into the box. Dees with the header, clear as far as Denham, midway inside the Killie half, just swivels away from Lyons. Good composed play from the teenager. Haring back into the box. Boyce's back post, tries to nod it back to Vargas. Vargas with his back to goal, can't find a teammate, but Hearts have won it back. It's Kingsley, now Forrest, left hand side of the box, trying to weave his way past McGuinness, but McGuinness wasn't fooled, and Kelly able to clear, and it's Vassell who picks up right hand side for Kilmarnock. Hearts though working hard, but Vassell working just as hard. Sliding in there goes Brad Lyons. Lyons is going to be in trouble here. It's just a yellow that's coming out. It was a sliding challenge in the middle of the park, and Lyons incurs the wrath of David Dickinson. The Hearts fans wanted a red. It was certainly a fully committed challenge, and one that nowadays in the commentary position you're never quite sure how the referee's going to call that.
I thought it was a good tackle, to be honest. I thought the young boy turned into him, and that's what happened. Is his momentum then took him into Brad Lyons committed to win the ball. He never seen him coming. He just thought he could turn and play, but it's one of those. Another day it's a great tackle, Alan. I'd still like to think today it's a great tackle, but I seem to be getting older and older these days.
There's another goal gone in at Fir Park, and you'll hear who it's from just after this free kick from Stephen Kingsley has been taken, because Hearts are looking for the opening goal. He's a poor effort at a free kick though, and Vassell easily able to clear. Back it comes though to Denham on the halfway line. He's looked good since coming on. Flicks it out to the left hand side for Forrest. Forrest brings it down. Can he get the ball into the box? It's one inside a corner. Brian, can you tell us quickly what's happened at Fir Park?
It's Motherwell 2, Hibernian 0. Mika Bereth with his first goal for the club. The long ball played forward by Lennon Miller into the path of Bereth. It looked as if Will Fish had got the better of them, but Bereth won the ball back and then drilled the ball low beyond David Marshall. Motherwell 2, Hibernian 0.
Thanks, Brian. The corner's taken, but Hearts can make nothing of it. But Vargas has won it back just outside the penalty area. 4 minutes to go here, plus stoppage time at Tynecastle. Civic back into the box, but Dees, who's been immense again at the back, clears from the edge of the 18-yard area. Rowles just inside the Kelly half, plays it square for Kent, and then gets it back via Denham. And that's a good ball forward for Vargas, about 25 yards from goal. What can he do here, the Costa Rican? He runs into trouble, breaks back for Haring though. Now Kingsley, left hand side, up against Armstrong. Kingsley gives chase, but he won't catch that one, and it will be a goal kick to Kilmarnock. 3.5 minutes of the 90 left. Hearts 0, Kilmarnock 0.
See the free kicks, Alistair, it baffles me sometimes that why they don't swing it in the way in towards the goal. Any header then for a defender, anyone misses it going across it, it could bounce in the far corner. Hearts, every free kick has been an out-swinging free kick. Very rarely you see somebody score with an out-swinging free kick.
Always
the first
talk,
contact.
Gary, you're right. Bend it in, aim for that far post. Someone might get a flick on it, a defender could flick it. It could end up in the back of the net if it's on target.
Hearts have it just outside the centre circle, inside their own half. 3 minutes left, plus stoppage time. No goals. As Rowles finds Haring inside his own half, out to the left-hand side for Kingsley. Kingsley quickly closed down by Armstrong, having to go back the way and hold the winger off. Back it goes to Rowles, who in turn plays it to his goalkeeper Xander Clark, and out to Kent, and now out to the right-hand side for Civic, the substitute. Forward for a fellow sub, Forrest, who spins on the halfway line and comes in field, finds Boyce midway inside the Kelly half, helps it on to Vargas. Vargas on the right foot, that's just over the top from the Costa Ricans. He's looked lively since coming on, but couldn't test Will Dennis there. Hearts 0, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, he's helped change the flow of the game for Hearts, Vargas. He's just given them an energy and an enthusiasm that was sadly lacking for about 75 minutes. He's come on, he's taken people on, he's tried his best, you know, and he looks like a good addition.
Kelly going to make a late change with Rory McKenzie, who's going to come on.
McGuinness,
record appearance holder, and it's going to be Kyle McGuinness, as Gary says, who makes way. 374 appearances now, Rory McKenzie.
I think Forrest, even Denham, I think coming on has certainly changed the flow of the game, the impetus to run forward, to look forward, to pass forward. It's given boys space to get in the ball, but everything else was pedestrian up to then, Alan.
Yeah, Hearts haven't played well today. They just look as if they're short and match sharpness more than anything. They've not played at a pace. It's been comfortable for Kilmarnock. I take nothing away from Kilmarnock. I think they've been excellent. I really do. Defensively solid, middle of the park. They've been competitive, and up front in the wider areas especially, they'll look very lively.
Yeah, well, we talked about their ambitions of perhaps troubling the top six this season. One thing that does appear to me safe to say is that they won't be involved in a relegation battle again this season. They look a much improved side. Some astute acquisitions from Derek McInnes, but still a bit of work to do to ensure they get something from this game. Hearts coming forward, and they have been better in this last 15 minutes or so, Hearts, but Kilmarnock still have had the better of the opportunities and tested Zander Clark more than Hearts have troubled Will Dennis, who will collect this ball through without any bother whatsoever. Last 30 seconds of the 90. We'll keep an eye on Ian Snedden, the fourth officials board, which is about to be shown to the crowd to see exactly how much time will be added on, as Will Dennis prepares to clear from hand at the edge of his penalty area. Vassell beaten in the jump there by Kingsley, but it comes off the head of the Hearts left back and out for a throw-in to Kelly over on the far side. Watson wants to launch this one. Five minutes of added on time to be played. The Hearts fans trying to rouse their side for a last hurrah here to earn them all 3 points, but in all honesty, I'm not sure that they'd be fully deserving of that, but it's gone all the way back to the Kelly keeper Will Dennis from a pretty promising position, but he launches it. Civic heads it down, but only to Matty Kennedy midway inside the Hearts half, checking in from the left on his right foot. Big switch of play looking for Armstrong. Kingsley steps in though, and now Vargas just lofts it onto Boyce. Boyce will try and return it to him, but he was closed down by Watson, who's turned in another excellent mature performance as Kelly come forward once more, but it's too strong for Kyle Vassell to get onto, and Hearts quickly get it moving as they try and snatch a winner. Back now with Kent into the feet of Forrest. There's an essential area just outside the centre circle. 1 minute of the 5 of injury time has been played as Kingsley gallops forward down the left hand side. Will he catch that? It's a lot to ask of him at this stage of the game. He has managed to keep it in according to the officials. Looks like it's gone to me.
I don't think the official on this side was up with play to see.
Kingsley made up incredible ground to do that. Here is Shanklin coming in off the left hand side, edge of the box. His shot is blocked. Good work from Denham. Comes back to Shanklin. Now Civic, edge of the box. Can he get the shot away? He's forced out to the right hand side, and it will be a Hearts throw in. 3.5 minutes left of injury time as Kilmarnock make another late change. Looks like Liam Donnelly to me who is going to come on, and Danny Armstrong, the player to make way. And Derek McInnes will be keen to ensure that, having played so well in the game, they don't leave with nothing. And Liam Donnelly just looking to shore things up slightly for the final few minutes of stoppage time as Toby Civic prepares to take the throw-in about 15 yards away from the right corner flag as Hearts attack. Back it goes to Frankie Kent, closed down quickly by Vassell. Poor control there by Kent, you have to say, and Kelly have won it back. Vassell into Mackenzie's taken out by Rose. Advantage played as Donnelly picks up. Good sliding challenge there from Vargas, and that allows Denham to pick up and charge forward. He's taken out of play by Mackenzie. That'll be a booking for Mackenzie, who's furious that Kelly didn't get a free kick a minute ago, but in fairness it was a decent advantage, it appeared to me.
It was a great advantage, and Donnelly should have slid the boy Watson in. He was clean in and goal, but he hung on to it, and then, to be fair, it's Rory's anger for not getting his foul there as he takes out the boy Denham. Stops the flow of the game, to be honest, because Hearts were in the ascendancy there, but it was a great opportunity to go 1v1 with the keeper, and Donnelly, not known for his attacking flair, shall we say, got caught in the ball.
Yeah, just on the park and maybe not quite up to match speed, if we're being kind to him. A couple of minutes left of injury time then as Haring prepares to take this free kick. Hearts looking for the winning goal. There's a penalty at Firth Park. We'll cross there in just a second as Kingsley picks up possession. That game on less of a knife edge than this one as it's behind for a corner. Brian, quickly the penalty.
And it's been scored by Hibernian. Adam Lefondre on target. It was a handball. We think it was Mugabe. There was a header by Doyd. Certainly wasn't much in it. It would probably have trickled through to the goalkeeper Liam Kelly. There was very few claims. However, the referee instantly stopped play and it was looked at and a penalty was awarded and scored by Adam Lefondre. We're now deep into stoppage time. 4 of 6 added minutes played here. It's now Motherwell 2, Hibernian 1.
Well, that corner was taken and comfortably dealt with by Will Dennis, and it's swiftly up the other end as Kilmarnock look for a late winner, but that's cleared. Robbie Dees picks up though. Kent wins it from Vassell. It's good play from the centre back. He's taken out by Donnelly. He'll go into the referee's book as neither side wants to lose late on, and so there's a few dubious challenges going in to make sure that play doesn't break up the other end. And that's Donnelly joining Lyons and Mackenzie of Kilmarnock in the referee's notebook, and the free kick will be taken. It'll be more or less the last action, I would imagine. 30 seconds left of the 5 minutes that were initially added on, for a few minor stoppages since then, so maybe just a bit more than 5 minutes to be played. But this surely is the last opportunity. Another apology for any bad language picked up as Kingsley prepares to take the free kick inside the centre circle, but Hearts have thrown plenty of bodies forward to the edge of the penalty area. In it comes, back post rises, it's Kent, but it falls for Lyons, and Lyons just smashes it down the field, out of play over on the far side. It'll be a Hearts throw-in. We've gone beyond the 5 minutes added on. It looks like it's going to end goalless here at Tynecastle. It's been a highly competitive match. Kilmarnock have given at least as good as they've got, but neither side has been able to find a way through, and it looks very much like they're both going to have to settle for a point. Both will remain unbeaten on 4 points, and there indeed is David Dickinson's full-time whistle to confirm as much. A game of few chances, it has to be said, but the best of them did fall to the visitors, albeit Peter Haring flashed a long-range effort just wide in the first half, and then Matty Kennedy at the other end had an effort tipped wide by Clark before. The best effort of the first half was a Kyle McGuinness flashing header from a Kennedy cross that was well saved by Xander Clark, and then in the stroke of half-time, Lawrence Shankland had a penalty claim that was waved away by David Dickinson. Again in the second half, few chances of real note, you would have to say. Armstrong had a header wide when he should probably have hit the target, and then Stuart Finlay with a rasping drive from about 30 yards, didn't look to be too far off target, but Xander Clark did see it fly wide. At the other end, there wasn't too much for Hearts to shout about, in all honesty, and they will have to be better on Thursday night if they're to overcome Rosenborg in the 2-1 deficit in that Europa Conference League tie. That will be live with us here on BBC Scotland, as will Servette against Rangers on television. But Tynecastle this afternoon, it is finished. Hearts 0, Kilmarnock 0.